Okay, so we're going to have a look right now at Drafting Module 1, Technical Sketching, and I'm going to do a couple of examples for you. I might break these up into a couple of different videos, but we'll see how that goes. But nevertheless, I want to start with this is your first technical sketching exercise, okay? This is the ORT1 drawing. And what you have here is you have an isometric view of an object, a three-dimensional object, and we can see the front view here and the right side view here, and then of course the top is going to be going down like this. And what we have to do is we have to recreate this in an orthographic projection. So what that means is we have to show a front view of the object here, two-dimensionally, a right side view here, and then we're going to draw a top view up here. All right, and we're given a couple of things to help us locate our sketch to get started with. So we're given point A in the isometric view here, and we can find that same point in the top view here, in the front view here, and in the right side view here. All right, and then we're also given this center mark here, which is going to identify the center of this hole and this exterior curve. Okay? So let me read the instructions here. It says sketch the top, front, and right side views of the object drawn in the isometric view. Okay, use the corner A for orientation. One isometric grid equals one orthographic grid. So again, like in our last example, in the first video with the introduction to sketching, we're not going to be scaling anything, so it's going to be a one-for-one representation. One grid here is going to equal one grid here, which makes things a little bit easier. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, whichever view you want to get started on, it really doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm just going to get started on the front view because I think that's kind of logical here. So the height of my object, starting from A, is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares or 5 grid marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it goes right there. Now, remember that we're using construction lines to lay this out. So I'm going to sketch that in right there, like that, right? Construction lines, I don't need to worry about how, I don't need to get it right on top of the lines. I just need to kind of sketch the basic shape in. This is one square or one grid thick. So I can come down here like this. And I see the bottom is also one square thick. So I'm going to come across like this. Okay. Now let's count. Now this is going to be a little bit difficult to see. So I'll try to do my best here. So from this surface right here, how far does it extend until the end, the right side of this object? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 squares. Now you have to be careful with counting in an isometric grid. It's a little bit tricky sometimes. So you might need to do it twice or 3 times. It's fine. So, but we want 7 from this face right here, which is right here, to the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we lay that out there. Now you see how I'm not worrying too much about, these are construction lines, so I can just scratch them in like that. And then we have this angle right there, right? And I want to count from this corner right here, right? 1, 2, 3 up. 1, 2, 3 up. So I'll make a little mark right there. And then it's 1, 2 over. 1, 2 over like that. And then I'm going to sketch that right there, okay? Now, at this point, I'm not going to worry about my my hidden lines, right? I'm going to come in and do that later. There will be hidden lines in this. There's going to be a hidden line for this bottom of the V-shaped groove in the front view. There'll be a hidden line for this hole in the front view and in the right side view. And there may be some other hidden lines, but so we're not going to worry about that. Okay, so I have everything that I need here in terms of visible lines. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this out, okay, or draw the visible lines here. So using my technique, right? Here's my pencil. It's a little bit too sharp for this, but it'll wear down a little bit, which is kind of what I want. I could use my other pencil here, which is a little bit duller. In fact, maybe I'll use that to get started with here. And I'm going to pull down. Remember, we want to pull down and rotate the paper. So I'm going to go from end to end right here. Okay. You'll notice that I have laid out a grid of blue tape, blue painter's tape, because I was concerned in the last video that that I was kind of moving outside of the boundaries that you could see. Now here's where you got to be careful. Make sure you got everything in there. Okay, so there we go. So let me pull that back in. Okay, so there's our front view, minus the hidden lines. Everything is darkened in. Okay, now I'm going to go to work on the... Actually, let's work on the right side view first. The top view is going to have some circular features in here, so I want to hold off on doing that because that's a whole other thing. So I'll switch pencils again to a nice sharp pencil, which helps with the construction lines. Now, here's where orthographic views really help out. This height here is going to be straight across here, so I can lay that out. Now, we know this corner is going to be good to go. And then the width across here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. And we can lay that out right there. Okay. And you'll notice that I didn't quite match on the line here. That's fine. It's a construction weight line. It's going to recede into the distance. Okay. So into the background. Now the V shape right here is 1, 2, 2 deep, right? Or 2 squares deep in that. So I'm going to I'm going to draw a line across here. And then of course it's in the center. So I'm going to draw it right there. And then it's 1 square on the top, 1 square on the top here. So I can sketch that in just, whoops. Now you might be inclined, oh, look, you made a mistake. Yeah, I was going off in the wrong angle. Should I erase that? No, I'm not using an eraser. You're not using an eraser either. If you really screw up, you know what? Just start again, right? It's just repetition. It's all good stuff. But with construction weight lines, it really doesn't matter. Okay, so we're good to go. And then the thickness right there. And then we got, looks like this comes in here, and this comes in here, and then we're good to go. Okay, now you might not be able to see exactly what I see here, but I'll show you when we darken it in. So I switch pencils again, and we're going to very carefully. I will say that when you're doing your visible lines, that's where you got to kind of be on guard. You got to make sure that you're darkening in the right lines, because once you darken in with your visible edges, there's kind of no backing out there. You got to get it all worked out with your construction weight lines. And hopefully you don't make any mistakes when you're doing your visible lines. Okay. Now this is and you might be wondering, yeah, he's giving away the answers. Yeah, I'm giving away the answers here because this is all about technique. I want you to see what I'm doing, and I have no problem with that. You still have to replicate it, right? But this is all initially, in addition to the sketching part, this is about vision. This is about you seeing what I'm seeing, okay? So I have my front view and my right side view done, minus the hidden lines. I have nice thick edges. I can add a little bit right there. That's good. Everything's good to go. And now let's work on our top view. Okay. So with our top view, we'll switch pencils again. Whoops. Sorry about that. We'll switch pencils again, and we'll sketch this in. So I already have the dimensions in here. So look at this. I can project this up. Right, and project this, of course, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. This is 1 here. There's 1 there. There's 1 there. And then we have the curve, or the hole, I should say. Now the hole has a radius of 2. 1, 2, a radius of 2 squares. So 1, 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this out right here. I'm going to mark out. This is how we draw circles. We create a square that we're going to draw the circle in. Okay. Now, I'll show you a little tip. This is as far as I will allow you to do straight edges, and we're not technically using a straight edge. But look, what I'm going to do, I have a little Post-it note. You can do this with a regular sheet of paper, and I'm going to mark out my 2 grid radius. So you can see that right there. I have a line marked that's 2 grid spaces apart. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to make a little mark right there, right? Again, construction weight. So I'm making a mark at basically, 45 degrees right through here. And just the barest hint of a mark. And this is going to help me to keep my proportions on my hole, my circle. Okay. So now I want to go and I want to do construction weight lines. So I'm going to start here, I'm going to end here, and I want to go through that point. So start, end. There we go. All right, let's do that again right here. So we go through here. And there we go. Through here. And here. And through here. And here. There we go. And that is pretty darn good. Let's do the same thing over here. We can do this. For the outer curve, it's a radius of 3. So I'm going to take another little Post-it note, and I'm going to mark 3 squares, and I'm going to go at 45 degrees, and I'm going to mark that right. Whoops. Doesn't have to be exact. Right there. And we're only drawing half a circle here, so we can go right there. All right. Now let's do this. So we're going to start here, and we're going to end here, and we want to go through that point. So start, whoops, no, look at that. Look how badly I messed that up. Construction weight lines, though, I don't care. There we go. All right. So let's darken this in. Start with your straight lines, right? So there. Straight line goes up to that point. Straight line goes up to this point. Line right there, a line right there. We want the V. We need to mark where the V is right there, and we need to mark the top of the curve right there. Okay. And now we got the curves, right? And the curves, you do have to be a little bit more careful, right? Because it's just, harder to draw the curves. But with a good construction line, essentially all we're doing is tracing over it. As long as you don't go too fast, everything should be good. And if you're a little bit off, it's fine. This is all a learning process, right? So you're not going to be perfect right away. All right, there we go. So now we have the completed views minus the hidden lines. All right, so now let's figure out where those hidden lines are. So hidden lines represent surfaces that are hidden behind other surfaces in the different views. So we've already talked about in the front view, the bottom of this V is right here, right there. I'm going to mark that there. And you can see it in this, the back surface of this vertical section and the horizontal section right there, these horizontal surfaces and vertical surfaces, are hidden behind the ribs here. And so we would see that right there and right there. And then the hole, of course, the hole is right there. We're going to see that right there. See how we can project down with the orthographic views? All right, so let's go ahead and get that in here. Now, it might be a little bit hard to see here because I'm drawing, thinner weight, not our thick lines. There we go. All right, so we got that in there. And now we have this line right here. And we have this line right here. Okay. In the top view, are there any hidden lines? There are no hidden lines in the top view. In the right side view, are there any hidden lines? Well, not in the top, but right here, the hole was hidden. So remember, it's a radius of 2, so there's the center, so we're going to go there we go. And finally, we want to add our center marks. Okay, so a center mark is, I'll put it over here. A center mark is a long line and a short line alternating, like so. Okay, so we already have a center mark up here, so we need a center mark here. So here's how we draw a center mark. I'm going to mark the center of the circle, which is right here. I'm going to put the short line right there, and then I'm going to draw that up, and I'm going to draw that down like that. We'll do the same thing over here. Draw the center, and come up, and come down. Okay, so there we go. So there's our finished sketch, right? The only thing that I'd need to do after this is just add my name on this. File number, it's not really a file number, I'll just put 1, and section, I think this is section, geez, I don't know, 300. All right, and so there we go. Okay, let me know if you think I left anything off, or if I was not clear on something, if you need me to go over anything again. But there is our first technical sketching assignment. Pay special attention to remember the line quality is important. The geometry and accuracy are also equally important, or almost equally important, according to the rubric. I have all my lines in here. I have good line quality, good line weight. There's no erasing. I can still see my construction lines, but that's okay because they faded into the background by using very dark visible lines like that. Okay. All right. So I'll see you in the next video.